Okay, so this time I watched Love Like a Flower Bouquet. This is a movie that came out earlier in 2021. It's a Japanese romance, and it has a little bit of a different take on romance movie. It spans for a whole 5 years with a little bit of like showing us the present, and then the whole story being showing us what has led up to the present. We get two main characters who we follow throughout the movie. These are a 22-year-old guy called Mugi and a 22-year-old girl called Kinu. They're both university students, and I think they're in their last year of university as we hop into 2015. To sum up how they meet and how this all starts, they are both running for the train. They both missed the train, so they decide to kill some time at a night bar. When they're there, they start realizing that, oh, we have a lot in common, like a lot. Whenever they mention any book, any movie, anything, and even when they're like mentioning like their opinions of this and that, it becomes pretty clear that they have pretty much dead on the same interests. This kind of sets them up as like a perfect couple, and they decide after spending the whole night together, kind of, that they should see each other again. From there on, they go on multiple more dates, and eventually they become a couple. And we get to see them being a couple for a good while. As I said, we got to see them from 2015, and we go on, and it becomes 1 year, it becomes 2 years of like us just seeing them. Then, after 2 years, we finally get some change, and now it's been runtime of over an hour of the movie of this relationship just kind of going really good. They are moving in together. They get a cat. Everything is going great. But now we finally get to a point where something starts to happen, because suddenly Mugi is starting to realize, oh, my dad is not that happy that I'm just not doing much after university, because at this point they both finished university, and he has decided that he needs to find a job to support himself and support them and their way of living, and in the hopes that they can keep living together the way they are forever. Um, Thinking about this, he decides to start job hunting, and Keanu starts job hunting too. And around the start of 2017, I think they both get jobs. And from here on, we just get to see how working has now become a priority. The things that they used to like completely have in common, the things they used to do together all the time, are starting to have less and less space. It starts sliding, and they start kind of growing apart in a way. Because Kinu still kind of feels like she is the same in some sense, but Mugi now is just constantly focusing on work, and we just get to see more or less now that there starts to be conflict, there starts to be hardship between them. This is, I would say, the most interesting part of the movie. Unfortunately, it comes after a whole hour of just slow build up love story, too good to be true. And it kind of felt like the movie should be over after an hour, but then now you're finally gonna get the action of the movie. You get like 20 minutes of interesting. This is starting to like fall apart a bit, and then you start seeing just like this is just falling apart. And there's a complete lack of communication between them in terms of what's bothering them, what the problems are, or very limited communication. And yeah, it eventually just leads on. We get, yeah, as I said, 2017, the year goes, they have job, it starts to sour a little bit. Then we get 2018, kind of just paces through the year. And then we end up coming to 2019, and things aren't going good. The reason you'd want to see this movie is to see it deteriorate and turn into this, because you need to know this in order to actually bother getting through the first hour, I think. Or I would assume that might come down to preference in a way. Some people would like the romance part, but some people would not. So it's a bit hard to say. For me, the movie isn't great. I think it seems like it's at least been fairly popular. So I'm guessing quite a few people who have seen it have thought very differently than I have. And if you've seen it and thought differently than me, or if you agree with me, please let me know what you thought. I'm very interested to hear what other people thought of this. But if you haven't seen it yet and you're considering whether or not to watch it, in my opinion, I would not recommend watching it. It's not like awful, but it's not very good. I have seen a lot better Japanese romance movies, or Japanese, just in general Japanese emotional movies, and this is not the best thing I've seen. I think I'd give it like a 6 out of 10, maybe, or maybe almost a 5 out of 10. I think I'll say six, but it's obviously very preference based. But for me, this isn't great. If you want to see something else that might be better, you could check out some of my other videos. I've reviewed a bunch of other Japanese movies, and I think this is one of the lowest ones for me so far.